YouTube within a couple days so that it's available if you want to share it or watch any parts of this again. We'll do a quick round of introductions. I'm Nate with Post Now. I'll be the bulk of the presentation today. We've got a few other people, and I'm just going to start with Ali up at the top if you want to do an introduction.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name's Allie. I work in sales and development over at Post Now with Craig and Nate. I'm here today just because of my extensive real estate background. So I've done everything from conveyancing to brokerage management right up to corporate franchise sales. And I'm just hoping to share a little bit of my marketing expertise with you today.
Awesome. Sandra. Oh, you're muted there, Sandra.
Sorry about that. It's Friday. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Sandra Bezier, and I am a customer success manager that works at Canada Post. I specialize in the real estate vertical, and I've been with the company for just almost 4 years now. And I work closely with Nate, Craig, and Ali. They are a Canada Post expert partner, helping out many of our clients. So thank you.
Thanks, Sandra. Craig, finally.
Finally, me, eh? Well, hey, thanks for joining us today. I know being a Friday and the start of the month, we all have different plans. It's officially December, so I guess we can start saying happy holidays and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm the founder of One-to-One Mailing. We started about 26 years ago doing direct mail, and became an expert partner a number of years ago at Canada Post. And that's similar to the distinctions that you as realtors get, where we're recognized for the services we're able to provide our customers. And one of the services we're able to provide is a solution for direct mail that makes it easy right from whether you want us to design, target, prepare the mail, and then eject into Canada Post. We work very well with Canada Post, and one of the common questions we have from realtors is they'll say, well, what's our postage cost? Our postage is the same postage you're getting. Whatever brand you represent, you're going to get that same rate. So we're just the people that are helping get it from your minds to your prospects. Looking forward to presenting to you today.
Thanks, Craig. All right. We've got our little bit of information up here at the top here. Ali, if there's anything of interest that you hear today and you'd like some help on, reach out to Ali. Drop a message in the chat, or again, just send her an email. I'm going to pass it over to Sandra to give us a quick overview of the day and talk about Canada Post a little bit.
Perfect. So we just want you to learn something today from this presentation, and there are a few key takeaways that we'll just overview. Why should you use Canada Post Direct Mail? We will tell you why. And we're also going to talk about doing it yourself versus someone doing it for you, such as Post Now. Nate's going to talk about his blueprint for success and the #1 secret to success to help you succeed in 2024. And then also leveraging technology for cost and time savings. Bless you, Nate. Great. So unlike any other company out there, Canada Post reaches all Canadians. We serve every address, every business day of the year. And there are 16 million addresses in Canada, and 4 million of them are living in apartments and condos. So that's a lot of households. And 85% of these apartments and condos are located in major urban centers across Canada. As you can see on the map, that would be Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver. And if you are an agent that specializes in Toronto condos and apartments, because there's many out there, there's 1.28 million people living in households in Toronto alone in apartments and condos. So this is a huge desirable demographic that is reachable only with Canada Post, especially for apartments and condos. So why choose Canada Post? Well, we've been in business for over 250 years, and we deliver a strong experience in a brand safe environment. We only hire adult delivery carriers, so your message will be delivered into the mailbox and not left exposed on a doorstep or to be covered in rain or snow, especially that we're in the winter months. So your investment is protected with Canada Post. And I'm going to pass it over to Ali. She's going to talk a bit about our stats. So yeah, looking forward to hearing from you, Ali. Thank you everyone for your time.
Thanks, Sandra.
No problem.
Good morning again, everyone. So I came today specifically with the goal to encourage agents to look at direct mail as part of an all-encompassing marketing plan. So just driving home that it is super important for you guys to kind of spread that marketing budget around. And so a quick little anecdote about why I think that's so important. I was lucky enough to go to Inman a few years ago and hear Brian Schneider, the former CEO of Reology, speak. And what he was talking about was he was asking agents in a market where 1 to 2% of your active audiences are actively buying or selling a home. And in a market that is so heavily saturated with competition and other people in the game, what are you going to do to stand out? How are you going to set yourself apart? And his answer to the room was, I want you to create meaningful marketing in a multitude of mediums. So what that meant was to look at online, was to look at tangible advertising, direct mail, all these different avenues and kind of make them all encompassing. So 60% of your consumers are more likely to make a purchase after seeing an ad that's presented to them in both online and offline fashions. Integrated campaigns garner 39% more attention than purely digital ads. So, just the time spent physically handling those pieces. 72% of millennials say print ad encourages them to go online to source more information about a person or product. And consumers had a 40% higher brand recall when direct mail followed an email or a digital ad. So, as you can see, the numbers are there to kind of support that all encompassing approach to marketing. And with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Nate so he can tell you how to get the most out of the direct mail portion of it.
Yeah, before we do that, maybe just to dwell on this a little bit, I think most realtors nowadays are playing in the digital space somewhere, whether that's Facebook or Google Ads or potentially some other channels that are working really well for them. One of the things we find, and like my background is digital, so I run a digital agency for the past 10 years, and we've helped all sorts of companies drive quality leads online. And what we find is direct mail really does add this unique component that strengthens every bit of your marketing. My digital campaigns will do better because people recognize me, especially when I'm doing things like overlaying my Facebook campaigns onto the same general area that I'm doing my mail campaigns. All of a sudden, people see you digitally and physically. And as Ali mentioned, that tangibility of the mail really does add credibility that you can't do online. You just can't add that credibility through a digital ad. All right, let's get into this. So I brought this up right off the beginning, but we're PostNow, and we are a partner that does direct mail for real estate agents across Canada. But the big thing that I want everyone to take away is it doesn't matter if you do this with us, another partner, or on your own. The rules and the kind of outline that we're going to put together today works regardless. You can do mail on your own. I'd say the biggest advantage of working with a partner, though, is saving you time. And as a real estate agent, there's a ton of constraints on your own time, especially during a working business day where, running to a print shop to pick stuff up and running to Canada Post and bundling and waiting in the post office lines. Like all these things, you have better things to do at that time of day. And working with a partner lets you offload all of that. So here's my blueprint for success. You don't have to wait till the end to get this. It's not hard. This is a very common strategy that has worked for many, many years. Obviously, there's ebbs and flows in this, and there's a few things in here that I want everyone to take away. So this is how you can 3 to 4 times your ROI on your marketing budgets within direct mail. So you need to pick the right neighborhoods. We're going to dig into how to do that. You need to craft dynamite messaging and offers. You need to repeat monthly, and this is my big secret. And it's not a secret, but I think it gets forgotten too often. Direct mail is not a one mail out campaign. That's not a direct mail campaign. A direct mail campaign extends over a time period where I'm going to connect and communicate a series of messages because I know I need to cut through the clutter. The other thing here is when we're talking about cutting through the clutter is you need to provide value in that mail. And as a real estate agent, the challenge is I only sell my home or buy a new home so often. And if I'm not in a buying cycle, what is valuable to me is different from a buyer or a seller. And so finding those ways to connect with people so that you become the realtor of choice when they're ready to pick. And I think the number one way for that is to become the community leader, the real estate agent that is well known in that community because they understand the community. And then finally, like, save time and money. And so we've got some tips that we're going to talk about that really help save time. And that's what drives ultimately high ROI. All right, let's start with farming the right neighborhood. We're going to do a couple things here, but I think there's 5 key questions that you really need to ask when you're coming up with your neighborhood strategy. And so it's, do you understand that neighborhood? If you don't understand the neighborhoods you're picking, like, it's not worth going into them. Are there enough transactions historically to meet your own business objectives? Whether you're going after mid and entry level communities where the homes might sell a little bit more regularly, or estate and country homes that probably sell a little bit less on average, make sure that you do the math to say, you know, if I'm going after 2,000 homes and I know that 8% of these homes move in a given year, then I know I've got 160 opportunities that I am farming for. How many of those do I need to get in order to make my campaigns, and not just my direct mail, but my overall marketing? How many of those do I need to get in order to make my campaigns profitable? Another one is to consider is those demographics and interests. It's very likely that you're not going to be able to target all of the areas you want to because of budget constraints. It's, you know, we draw a circle on a map in a urban area, and even at a 1 kilometer radius, you could have 20,000 unique addresses in there. And that's probably out of most agents' budgets, especially when they're looking at how to be effective with direct mail and get going. And so we say a campaign in the 2,000 to 5,000 piece range for neighborhood mail is a great way to start. And so use the right demographics and interests to match what your goals are as a real estate agent, as well as to weed out the less valuable ones to you and your own real estate strategy. Finally, are you going to be involved in that community? And while you might understand the community and they might be the right people, if you really want to stand out, it's about more than mail. It's about being at the events, participating where you can, being a face out there. And I think that's really a component that matters, in that, are you going to do the other things to make the rest of your marketing be as effective as possible? All right, let's do a demo. If you've ever used Precision Targeter, you know how much of a challenge that can be. It's very powerful, but oftentimes I think as real estate agents or just business owners, we don't really have the time and capacity to learn another tool, and I just want easy. So I'm in the PostNow system here, postnow.ca, and I'm logged in as my realtor demo. We've got a tool in here called our Audience Builder, and this lets you build audiences before you build a campaign. And so you can mess around and plan and do everything you need to before you get going and actually go all the way through here. So I'm going to start by giving this a name. And actually, Ali, I'd love to show how quick this is. I think one of the big complaints we hear about Precision Targeter is the amount of time it can take. And so hit go. I'm already in like 20 seconds, so we'll add a little bit here, but this shouldn't take more than 5 minutes to plan your audience. All right, so I'm looking for upsizers, and I live in a neighborhood that is ripe for people to buy homes, but right beside me is a neighborhood that is a lot of higher density family apartments and like entry-level homes. And so people from there want to move into the neighboring communities to stay in the schools, and just, it's a beautiful area. So we're going to build this neighborhood mail, and we're looking for upsizers in an area called Collingwood. I'm going to send out 2,500 pieces, is what the size of this audience I'd like to be. And I'm going to hit this add entry button, which will open up a little map tool. And so we're going to, if you are in here and you forget how to do this, we've got a nice little set of instructions. There's about 5 steps here. It's not too hard. It will find where you're at if you let it. And so this gives you a quick location to say, all right, let's figure out what's going on here. And I want to kind of dwell on this area a little bit. We've got this Westridge and Patricia Heights area and then this Collingwood area. And people from Collingwood like to move over to this Westridge and Olescu area. We know that's the case, and as a real estate agent, if I know these areas, I just want to target this. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to use this little polygon shape tool, and I'm going to pick the points that I want my campaign to extend into. And I'm actually going to make this a little bit more of a complex shape there. And so that's where I want to target. And if I wanted to draw a more complex shape or also add another area where like I also want to target here, that's great. That's all the mapping that you need to do. So from here, I'm going to scroll down and I need to build this upsizer's audience. I know what an upsizer is. It's, somebody that's, in this case, like I'm going to go after just people in apartments. So I'm going to whittle down to apartments. I'm looking for families. And so I'm going to find my family structure option here. You can combine up to 3 demographic filters when you do this, and then we'll do all the hard work on the back end. And these are the same tools and demographic options you have when you use the Precision Targeter tool, because it's what we use internally. And so we're still using it. We're just saving you all the effort. So we're going to go family structure. If I wanted to filter down by an average income, I could. I don't think that works with upsizers because if you're in a neighborhood that is lower income but you're ready to move out of it, you're actually not the average in that area. And so looking for averages isn't what you're looking for. You're looking for this a different way. And so I'm going to go family structure and I'm going to pick, let's go, where's my other one here? I can go building construction period or education where if I wanted to pull something out, but this might be as easy as I need to do in this case. We're going to go with children at home, married couple families, and that's it. So I'm going to put a little note here, looking for an upsizer audience in Collingwood. I'm going to hit add entry. This will save in a moment here. And so once that's done, I can scroll down and get a really brief example of what this campaign is going to cost in that my postage right now is my default postage rate. When you log in as your own company brokerage, your rate is reflective of the Canada Post rate that's already been negotiated for you guys. But I can get my print rate and everything here. And if I'm good to go with this, and I'm like, I'm going to save this for future, we're going to use this later, I'm just going to hit save audience. So I'm about 4 minutes, including giving you guys an overview of how to use the tool. Once you've used it a couple times, it's a few minutes to kind of plan an audience out and map and figure out what you're doing. I think that what that does to me is that leaves the opportunity to do my own research around the communities and the areas that I want. And so if I want to be Collingwood, demographics, Edmonton, most of the cities out there have these amazing neighborhood profiles that give you a really good up-to-date look at the neighborhood. And this is a combination of a bunch of different data sources. Every city tends to be a little bit different in what they're presenting. But I think the big thing here is this will help highlight that this area is predominantly young. 20 to 39 is the bulk of the population in here. I can see married versus common law status. The size of the households here, it's a lot of 1 and 2 person households. And so there might be this opportunity to get them into condos in a different part of the city versus rentals. I saw a question pop up around, can you target renters? Yeah, that was the one that I was looking for in the list there. There's the ability to filter demographically by if a neighborhood is predominantly owned or rented. And so combining that family with the rented and apartments, like it is a dynamite audience to farm over time. Because I know it's like, it might take a few years for someone to move into the area, build up a little bit of value, personal value, and then be ready to move into their own place versus renting. But man, if I am the realtor that is in that area, it's a great growth opportunity. So not to take too much time here, but use the other tools and data that's available to you and not just maybe what Canada Post has or even what you can find in your MLS and the real estate data. All right, let's go back to this. I'll answer that one. So with Neighborhood Mail, Jason, the big thing is that you're targeting clusters of 300 to 500 homes. And so a neighborhood walk, which is all the places that a postman delivers to in a day. And you can't cherry pick inside of that cluster. It's like I either want to target this cluster of homes or I don't. And so the match rates is what happens. So we get a match rate on every single neighborhood based on those demographics. And the higher the match rate, the more of the homes or people in that area match what your ideal demographics are. And so obviously, as you combine more and more factors, you're going to have a lower and lower match rate just by the nature of statistics there. And so understanding that if I'm only looking for a one item match rate, I should probably be looking for like 70 plus match rate. But if I'm combining 2 or 3, all of a sudden I'm down to a 40 to 50 to 60. But if I can identify these like 70 and 80% match rate areas with 2 demographics applied, it's like, boy, that is a home run area. And I'm not going to worry about the fact that I might hit 15 to 30% of homes that aren't a perfect fit for my campaign. I'm still a realtor. They still might be buying. And so you guys are in a unique position where like everybody is a potential customer of a real estate agent versus a lot of people that send mail where like they'll never be a customer for a particular type of business. I'm never going to buy makeup personally. I might buy it for my wife, but it's different, right? Like I'm not the end consumer. So, okay. Step number 2 here is when you're building your campaigns out, you need to message like a marketer. And what I mean by this is be clear in your copywriting and be precise in the actions that you want someone to take. And so my 3 biggest takeaways for copywriting tips are use benefit-driven headlines, which if we talk about that, what that means is your headline should immediately convey the benefit to the reader or to the recipient. It's not just about selling a property, it's about selling a dream, a lifestyle, or a solution to that problem. And for example, turn the key to your dream home or find your sanctuary in the city is far more powerful than like, I'm a realtor, choose me. It's like you're trying to connect with them differently. Next, be clear and create urgency. Clarity does create urgency, and so especially in a call to action. And so make your call to actions crystal clear and often convey a sense of urgency or exclusivity. It should encourage immediate action, right? Like ideally I can get them to take an action right now. Get my white paper, request a home evaluation, download my recipe book, request a free slow down sign. It's like there are things that you can do that will make somebody take an action and get them into your digital funnel. That's the goal, right? Get them online because it's never going to be a one step from direct mail to a lead. It's like I need to get them into my other lead generation process. And then finally, localize and personalize. And so if you're doing a local area, you should talk to them like you're the expert in the area. Use the neighborhood names, use the landmark names, use photos that are from the area that are recognizable. It helps create that credibility that you understand that area. All right. Excuse me. As a reminder, marketing messages never stick the first time, and that's why that repetition is such a key important part of it. The average, I think the latest research is it's about 6,000 to 10,000 marketing impressions that each of us sees or hears per day. We're bombarded with them. And so how does one cut through that clutter? Well, it really does need quality messaging and tactility and to be in the right place. All right, let's talk about this repetition, this giant secret. The reason this is so important is that 80% of engagement in a direct mail campaign, a multi-drop direct mail campaign, happens after the 5th drop, for the 5th drop plus. And so what that means is that if I'm going to generate 10 leads out of a 5 or 6 drop campaign, most of those leads aren't coming until the 4th, 5th, and 6th drop as I build up that value and I see an exponential uptake because I'm now a trusted option in the market. So we recommend a cadence of about a month. So you can kind of stretch that out to 6 to 8 weeks if you need to, or if you're really trying to test a market out. But monthly is a great way to stay front of mind. And after 6 months, you should be able to measure some sort of measurable results. And if you're not seeing results, you should have your KPIs in place before your campaign goes out. But if you're not seeing results, it's important to look at the reasons that might be. Right, and it may be bad neighborhood, bad mail pieces, or it's just something else is going on there, bad reputation. And so it's understanding that you do want to measure and have these KPIs along there so you can put a value on that campaign at the end. Okay. Finally, providing real value. I'm not a fan of market reports. I'm going to come out and say that. As a homeowner and not a real estate agent, I can get data anytime I want. I'm young enough that like I understand the internet, and I can go to Honest Door, and I get market reports via email because I probably signed up to somebody's list in the past. And so market reports, unless they really have something unique about them, they don't cut through the clutter. You can send them on occasion, but I wouldn't rely on as my default strategy. The same goes for Just Listed and Just Sold. They're a great way to show that you know what you're doing as a real estate agent. I don't know what value they provide long term. It's more, which is okay because sometimes they're still a fit. And so here's some ideas that you can add to a postcard or a mail piece that do add a little bit of extra value that might make them stick around the home. Christmas is coming. Your favorite holiday recipe or drink. And the reason for that is that all of a sudden that is something that if they like, it sticks around and it goes into their recipe book. Including local testimonials and real success stories from your clients. Don't tell me that you sold a home. Get the customer to give you a comment that you can share on the postcard and really paint a picture of what you did for that family or for the seller or the buyer, either way. You can include home maintenance tips, educational content. You can do that market insights, but you have to personalize it to really put a spin on it that's, highlights your expertise in that community. We do a slow down sign campaign where people can request a staked lawn sign to get people to slow down in the neighborhood. Invitations to community events, cool artwork. We were chatting with a real estate agent, and we're going to kind of share her idea, but she's an artist on the side, and she wants to send out a series of postcards highlighting her unique art pieces because they're community driven. They're very central to the community that she lives in. They're recognizable. And at the time, like all of a sudden she creates a series of little really nice art postcards where people can keep them and do what they want with them. So there's lots of ways to provide value other than just saying like, hey, I sold a home or there's another home for sale in your area. Okay, I think it's time to build a campaign. And so we've got a little bit of context today. We know we're talking about this upsizer community. We already built the audience. And so we're going to use that. Allie's got my timer going again for me. I'm just going to find our window here. All right, so I'm in Post Now. I have the campaign builder open here. And this will take a little bit longer than it should take you because I'm going to walk through a couple of the nice little tools that are in here. And so this is my Upsizer Collingwood demo campaign. We're doing that neighborhood mail. After I've selected my mail type, I need to choose my induction date. So this is the day that we can get your campaign to Canada Post. We're a 3-day window right now. So from time of order to getting it inducted to Canada Post, 3 business days. That's print, design, targeting, mail prep, and any transportation time there. If I was doing a new campaign and I didn't have an audience that I wanted to reuse, I can build that campaign and it would be that same process we walked through, nice little pop-up map. But in this case, I've already built my campaign, and so I'm going to find it from the list here. There's my Collingwood upsizers there. And so 2,500 pieces. It's going to auto fill in how big my campaign is. If I didn't know, and so I'm going to step back here. If I was building a new audience and I didn't know how much I wanted to spend, we do have on the site underneath the direct mail tab, this how much is direct mail. That pulls up a calculator here where you can figure out campaigns. But on the campaign builder, we also have this campaign budget pop up. And so I'm just going to let this load. This lets you enter in a dollar amount where I've got $1,000 budget. I don't know how many pieces I could send out with that. So let's put in 1,000 and I get the 3 options available to me, a letter and an envelope and 2 postcard sizes. And this will tell me exactly how many households I can reach with that $1,000 budget. And so if I want to send that postcard, I'm just going to select this option. It would fill in the quantity here and I can continue on with my campaign. We're just going to give this a second. It's just picking that. So we're not going that route though. We're going to use my existing audience. So I'm going to switch back to this, go back to my upsizers audience, and then continue on. All right, so that's the budget tool. The next one here is, how can I save money and make my campaigns more efficient, have higher ROI? You can pre-plan. We offer what we call multi-drop or series campaigns. And a series campaigns means you're sending to the same households multiple times over a time period. There's a little bit of a trick with this one in that typically it is one postcard design that we print all of them at once. But if we have all of your postcard designs for the next, let's say, 3 months at once, we can print it as a single job and keep your cost savings because you're printing more. And that's the reason this saves so much money. And so I'm going to pick 3 drops. We're going to do a fixed induction date. We're going to go monthly. And I'm just going to pay for my first postage, and then I'll be billed for my postage drops just before the next ones go out. So I'm not out extra money. I can see here my 3 options. And instead of me printing 2,500, I'm getting the rate for printing 7,500, which brings my cost down. I think it's from like 26 cents to 18 cents in this sense, or 17 cents. So I save about 35% off of my print just by pre-planning my campaigns and committing to a 3-month program using this tool. All right, so from there, I can carbon offset my footprint. And so if you would like to plant trees based on the weight of your campaign, check the box off. This will add trees to your cart. These get planted with an awesome organization called Project Forest out of Alberta, and they plant in Western Canada to reforest areas that have been decimated for farming and stuff within a bunch of the Aboriginal treaties and reservation lands. It's pretty cool. All right, so from there, I need to choose my template, right? I've chosen my audience. I know my basics here of what size I'm picking. If I have my own artwork ready to go, I can upload it here. Otherwise, we've got a bunch of different templates that we're always updating. These are a bunch of our real estate ones, and so I can kind of browse through, find the one I like, blow these up, and view the various sides of them with pretty good ease. We have branded templates for certain companies that are only visible if you are part of that company. They're not visible because I'm just a generic real estate agent today. So I'm going to pick this one up here, and I'll scroll down to the bottom, add any final notes. The more notes you give us, it just helps us out. But today, just a demo. I'm going to agree to the terms, and then I'm going to generate my campaign and check out. So I'm thinking I'm about 5 minutes to build the campaign. It's going to take me another minute or 2 to check out. But on the checkout page, it's pretty straightforward e-commerce. Fill out your information, hit the pay button. We get the information right away and start your campaign that day. That's how we're able to get it done within a 3-day window. And so your account manager, if you've done with us, you always get to deal with the same people to make life easy. We keep as much as we can on file to, again, make your life easy, where if I had my credit card information in here, it would be pulled up for really quick processing. We do have a coupon code. I'll give it to you guys now. It's Success 2024, and that's giving you 15% off of the print and design services until the end of the year. Any campaign ordered by December 31st is when that coupon expires. So I do want to get this done. If you've ever worked with a print house or a mail house and had to deal with their proofing of designs, you know how much of a challenge that can be. I don't know that we'll get time to look at this too much in depth, but part of the PostNow platform is a proofing portal. And that proofing portal makes life so easy for you to request changes. Unlike a lot of traditional online tools where they expect you to make the design changes yourselves, it's like, we're not doing that. It's, you have a nice point and click interface where you can click, leave a comment, upload an image, upload a document, and professional designers from our team will actually do the work, change the piece up, keep it looking proper and professional, and go back and forth with you until it's right. That tool, though, saves days off of the workload and makes it easy. You're not printing a PDF. If you need to work as a team, everything's in there, and we can add extra people to be able to view a project in there. So that is a nice tool. All right, let's go back to our presentation here. I think I got a few more slides I want to cover. All right, let's start here. I've got a few really quick questions. We know these pop up in every single webinar. So we're just going to cover these quick. If something gets missed after this, though, it's almost that Q&A session. So we're happy to answer any questions or talk to you about your own strategies if you're willing to bring them up with everybody. We won't be recording the Q&A. That's going to just get cut out, and so it's not something that's going to be public. But these rapid-fire questions are. So, Craig, how much is direct mail? You're muted first.
Apologize for that. Less than you think. I said it at the start. It is your postage rates that are negotiated, your brands, and then the printing, mailing. It's when I say it's market prices, it's very reasonable. But if it's done right, like I say, it's a lot less than you think.
Yeah, I think we're about a $750 budget gets you about 1,500 postcards still. And once you factor in postage, it's even less than that from a cost perspective, or more from a postcard, like how many postcards you can send out for that much. Next question is, what should I expect for returns on my mail campaigns? What type of results are typical?
What we're hearing is 2 to 4, but I'd say 3 to 4 is a common return on investment. So if you take that same figure of $500 a month, we're not saying you're going to get $2,000 every month. We are saying if you make that investment of $5,000-6,000 a year, you're going to attract the customers. So your commissions should represent the 3 to 4% that you're spending.
Yeah. Any ways to track direct mail?
There are a few. A QR code is a great way, especially with the fact that people are now willing to use the QR codes, as well as a call tracking number, so a dedicated number for that. Nate has great insights of how direct mail, like we know people are going to go online, they're going to do some research as well. So if you're utilizing your direct mail to drive people to go online, to download a paper or market information, then you're able to track it that way.
Yeah, I don't want to take a ton of time, but like I think QR codes are the most undervalued tool out there right now. COVID fears of them are gone. Everybody knows how to use them. They're not scary anymore. And the value of what they can do from a tracking and a being able to send somebody to complex pages is just, it's the best tool that like I still think isn't quite utilized properly on mail yet. It's getting better, and so we definitely help with that. Allie, this one's maybe for you, but like, can you help me with my strategy?
You bet I can. We can take a really raw and obscure marketing idea and fine tune it into something, or we can take a fine tuned machine and execute it. So you just let me know how we can help. I can do a consultation, takes 15-20 minutes. My email is allie@postnow.ca, and I'm happy to help.
Thanks, Allie. And then finally, do we do any other mail types? There are other online neighborhood mail tools out there. We're the only one that does neighborhood mail, personalized mail, and postal code targeting. And we got through this pretty quick. I typically don't bring up a lot of postal code targeting stuff. It's a little bit more complex, but what it can do is really, really cool. And so I think it's worth just taking 5 minutes and building a really quick audience to target an individual condo apartment tower. So postal code targeting is very different than neighborhood mail, but they oftentimes get confused. Neighborhood mail, you target with a 3-digit postal code, that FSA, and then you kind of pick within that. With postal code targeting, I'm targeting an entire 6-digit postal code, and that's a cluster of 15 to 25 homes on average, or a single apartment building, apartment/condo building. And so for those of you in Ontario, I think you'll be familiar with these buildings. The the towers at Absolute Ave, and so the whether you call them the Marilyn Monroe buildings or whatever, but like these beautiful condos that you see from everywhere. Each one of these has its own postal code, and traditionally you couldn't really just target them easily, and so with this I can though. And so 60 Absolute Ave. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my postal code targeting option instead. If I had a list of postal codes, example, I wanted to target a bunch of clients, neighbors of my existing clients, I could do that with postal code targeting. I just drop in my list of postal code list. But for now, I'm going to use my address postal code lookup. I can narrow this down to really just pick certain addresses. In this case, I just don't want businesses. But I'm gonna do a search here. So SIP 60 Absolute, there it is. I'm just gonna give this a moment. There are 428 households within that building that I could target with that postal code. And so I'm gonna add that address. On the flip side, I'm gonna do something a little bit more localized. I could search 60 Westridge Road, Northwest. This is a neighborhood, and I'm going to get a cluster of 15 homes. And so it's a little keyhole street, and it's just the houses in that immediate keyhole where everybody knows everybody. And so I could add that one to my audience as well. What's really cool about this, and I've got 2 Canada Post people on the call, so if I am wrong on this, please correct me. What's really neat about postal code targeting is one campaign can span the entire country. I'm not stuck just targeting in Toronto. I could have audiences in in Alberta, Ontario, BC with one campaign when it comes to postal code audiences, which is very neat when you're trying to reach like a referral style network, or you have connections in different cities and different places. So this is a really advanced way to do direct mail. It's got a little bit higher postage cost because of the data that's included with that. But if you have a unique strategy that you're trying to figure out how to target a little cluster, clusters of the estate homes that are tucked away in these little neighborhoods, this is how to do it. And you can really stand out. So that's probably where I'm going to close this off. I'm going to stop the recording. Everybody, thank you so much for joining. Stick on the call if you have any questions, and we'll open it up to a quick chat. Yeah, thanks again.